afternoon crowd. After school COLs are usually pretty small. I just saw something that I had written on a recent paper that August did, and it said, August, thank you for your curiosity, your passion, and your willingness to share and what he knows. And that is something that came through in science this year. He's someone who doesn't just learn what needs to be learned for the class. He brings in information that he learns outside of class, and he adds more information than we would have otherwise. He's also a fellow NPR junkie, which I have to say made me quite fun. August is in a great academic group with many people that are sitting here now, because it's a group of thinkers and sharers and debaters, and that is something that definitely describes August. So he's going to talk in his COL about how talking and debating have helped shape his learning during the last 14 years.
13. All right, first I'd just like to thank everyone who's here today and everyone who's helped me. I'd like to thank Ellen. I'd like to thank Elias, who's in the other room right now, but he's been an excellent 7th grader and has helped me a lot. And yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone who came today, my panelists.
I'm going to turn the light on.
I have found that as a learner, I learn best outside of the textbook. I learn from experiences and from communication, not from learning random facts. I'm not saying I don't learn from textbooks. I do, and they can have a lot of fun and interesting things. But despite this, the majority of the useful knowledge I have has come from outside of the textbook. I just wanted to say our school rarely, if ever, uses textbooks, and I feel this has been good. It has given me many opportunities to learn outside of the textbook. And this has helped me tremendously. It is one of the biggest reasons why I love this school. As a learner, I have come a long way. From my earliest years, I have been interested in the world around me and how it works. So when I'm asked, who am I as a learner, I'm not quite sure how to respond. I look back on the first things that I learned and see that I learned to talk at an early age. According to my parents, we were in France for a few weeks when I was 1 1/2, and there were a lot of cows on the side of the road. So my first words were vache, or cow. After returning home, I quickly picked up English too. So one of the number one ways I learn outside of the textbook is through talking and discussion, and this has been evident throughout my entire life. From learning to talk at an early age to discussing and debating current events, the Montessori atmosphere has encouraged me and given me the opportunity to thrive. And this has made a huge impact on my life. As many of you know, I am extremely talkative and will discuss and debate a variety of new topics. This has helped me tremendously as a learner. Being able to discuss helps me get new opinions as well as learn new and interesting things. It helps me in humanities class, with group discussions, and to better understand current events and new ideas. And because of this, I feel like I can excel in a classroom that follows the Socratic method of teaching. From what I've heard from my parents, I have always been this way. They told me when I was very young, I was at a restaurant with them. I got up and walked over to another table. I started telling them about myself and asking questions to the people at the table, who were complete strangers. In school since my first day, this skill has been encouraged to expand, and one of the most important parts of school that got me to where I am now were debates in Andy Natalie's class. We were given a partner and a topic, which usually had to do with some kind of current event, and a side of the topic to represent. We would gather as much information with our partner on the topic as we could, and then write an opening statement. The debate would take place in front of the whole class. We had 2 minutes for an opening statement and 1 minute for rebuttal. The class would vote on whoever they thought did the best. This was good for many reasons. It taught us how debates worked, improved our public speaking skills, and it also got me interested in public speaking. As I moved into middle school, I had even more opportunities to discuss many new things, some being fishbowl discussions and Socratic dialogues. Fishbowl discussions happen in most classes. In a fishbowl discussion, we are given a topic to discuss and split up into 2 groups. The first group talks about the topic, and while they're doing that, the second group takes down notes about the discussion, like, August had good points, but could have let other kids speak more. Then we would switch. After the discussion, the observers would share what they wrote down. This helps you know what you're doing well and what you need to improve upon, as well as gives everyone a chance to talk about what they're currently learning in class. Then there are Socratic dialogues. These are done about once a month in different classes. We get an article about a topic, for example, what to do with nuclear weapons and how to get rid of them peacefully. We read the article, which has all sides of the debate, and take notes on what we think. Finally, we discuss what should be done. One of the most interesting things I've had the opportunity to participate in has been Project Group. This year, I was in the MUN, or Model United Nations group. This was a lot of fun, and I learned a tremendous amount and was able to improve my public speaking. With a partner, what would happen is we would get a topic, a country, and a committee. And with a partner, we would do research on our country's position on that topic. We would start writing our position papers. These are papers in which we would try to summarize our country's position on the topic. We would also use it to base our arguments off of at the conference. After preparing for the conference, we would actually go to the conference. We followed UN procedures and formats and tried to pass a resolution, finding friendly countries to get a resolution worked out with, and making strong and persuasive arguments to opposing countries. But we're all going for the same goal, to write a resolution that all sides agree on and hopefully would solve the problem. We would also go on other trips, such as the time we went to visit the German consulate and met with Consulate General Friedrich Lohr to talk about Germany's position on world events. After that, we went to the Boston Public Library to continue research on our country's positions. We also went to Collins Ski House, where we planned trips and had a mock MUN session, where we discussed the recent earthquake in Haiti. There was also our biggest trip, the trip to Washington, D.C. When we were in D.C., our group decided to make a Peacemakers Trail, finding memorials, monuments, and museums related to peacemakers. My group decided to use the Martin Luther King speech on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. We read part of it and had a conversation on how it relates to us and whether we think it is still relevant today. Despite the rain and lack of time, it was still a huge success. Now looking into the future, I can see this will continue to help me. Despite the way communication is changing, like texting, Facebook, and Twitter, I still feel like this will help me. And as I move into high school, I feel this is a skill I will be using more and more. If you look back on human history, you see that speech is the #1 way to share information. Before written language, speech was the way people communicated, and is still one of the most important skills I could have. I've been extremely lucky in the fact that my family have been huge travelers. We go to new places, whether across the street or to other countries, and we certainly learn a lot of new things. From an early age, I have loved to move around and see new places and things, and as a learner, this has helped me tremendously. Since I was little, my family has gone almost every year to Florida to visit my grandmother and my aunt and uncle, who live in Florida half of the year. I have also gone several times to California, both to visit my grandparents and my great-grandmother, who live out there. We have also gone on many outdoors hiking and camping trips, one of the biggest being our yearly trip to Mount Cardigan in New Hampshire. We go up to a cabin on the side of Mount Cardigan that only has a propane stove and doesn't have running water. We hike up with our food, our clothes, and everything we will need. And this is a really cool experience. We have also been to parks such as Yosemite, Grand Canyon, Kings Canyon, Sequoia, and Shenandoah. Recently, my family went to Belize, and this was one of the best experiences of my life. Not only did I get to see a cool new country and relax on the beaches, but I helped out. When we were down there, my family volunteered with an organization called SHI, Sustainable Harvest International. They helped out people down there use sustainable farming practices and not slash and burn, which is used most of the time. This is good for the farmers and for the earth. This was an amazing experience for me, and one I will never forget. To see how people lived in other parts of the world was eye-opening for me. It was something you couldn't get from a textbook. When I got back, I decided that I should keep helping. I helped organize an info night hosted by Free the Children, a service-oriented elective, which I am a part of, that would tell people about SHI and what they do. Free the Children wanted to go down there and help out and experience it for themselves, so Free the Children and I are currently planning a trip down there next year. This shows something about me that not many others have. I do something about it. I'm not just aware of the problem. I want to go down there and help. Many other people will have this kind of experience and do nothing about it. I get out and help. I've also been lucky to be able to have advanced math after school on Fridays with some of my friends, hosted by Ralph Brown, who's one of my panelists and loves to teach. For an hour and a half, we talk about math concepts and problems relating to math. For example, people give us the information we need and work through the problems with us to find the escape velocity of Jupiter. This is extremely interesting and a ton of fun, and it's a kind of experience you can only get outside of a textbook. I learned through my experiences and not in textbooks. You can get a lot of interesting things in them that can help you, but the best way to learn is to see and experience it for yourself. It's the same way with speech. It's one thing to learn the word, but another thing to be able to implement the word wisely. It's important to use your knowledge and share and discuss with others, and I feel this is something I can do well. I can use the information where it makes sense and bring new ideas and opinions to the table and back them with facts. Then that's a skill you have to learn for yourself. So to answer the question, who am I as a learner? I talk, I discuss. I learn through my experiences, like traveling to new places and meeting new people. So the best way to say it is that I learn outside of the textbook. My friends and family and all my teachers have helped me to get to where I am now. And as I look into the future, I hope Pingree can continue to help me learn outside of the textbook. Thank you. And now I'm going to share my academic component. Hold on a second.